Okay,
go.
you're good.
Yep.
Okay, so the main part, like, what we wanted to do is have a game, and if you did something, you get one potential outcome, and if you did another thing, then you get a different outcome. So we have two different sides, the scary side and the candy side. So there's a circuit set up through our whole machine, and if you break the circuit, then you get the first potential outcome, which is the scary side, and at the end of that, you see a Barbie at the end get beheaded with a guillotine. But if you go through the game and all the circuits are still like connected, then you get candy, so that's the good side, so you don't want to undo the circuit.
Oh, okay, so we started off with the track. Okay, so first we have the car moving through this pathway right to the door, because essentially that's what you want to do if it's trick-or-treating. But we don't want to make it so easy for you guys, so we set up a series of tripwires. The first tripwire is a tree with a lightning bolt over it. Once this is knocked over, which is attached, it's a string attached to a thumbtack. It's knocked over, the pulley lets go of the branches, and lightning bolt hits the tree, and a skeleton appears. Next is this lever. The lever, you can avoid the lever, but if you hit the lever, it's attached to a line. It's attached to a string, which is attached to a cup of eyeballs. The eyeballs fall onto a mouse trap, which then has we modify it to have increased surface area. So it hits the CD player, which plays the song "This Is Halloween." Next part, as you go along, there's another tripwire, which is attached to a weight. Once you go through the tripwire, you're pulling the string essentially, which pulls down the weight, which is attached to a pulley. The pulley is attached to a lever with a bottle on it, which is filled with vinegar. The vinegar pours down the track into a cauldron of baking soda.
Alright, from there we start our scary side, and the car hits this lever here, and we made it so it's not possible to go around it. So, well, you have to start it. Anyway, so once the lever goes, it'll swing this pendulum and knock over the dominoes. Dominoes head over and land on the mouse trap. The mouse trap sets off and hits this tubing, and at the end of it there's a ball that you can't see. Well, you guys probably can. And so the ball rolls down the tube and lands inside the cup. And since of the weight adding, it goes up and it knocks this weight off. And then the guillotine is all ready to behead the Barbie. And we'll talk about the circuit now, since he knows more about it.
So, yeah, you want to do the candy side first?
Okay, so also when you're going through the door, there's another tripwire. When you trip that wire, it releases the skull, like it's held up by a series of pulleys. So the pulleys basically lower the skull onto the mousetrap, and the mousetrap is attached to a nail that's on the ramp right here, and that kind of keeps the candy in place. So once the mousetrap triggers, it'll pull the nail and let the candy roll down freely. And then, well, Eric will explain this part, but when the candy rolls down, it'll drop into the cup, and we attach the nail to the cup because there's a magnet on the car, so as you approach it, the magnetic attraction will basically tip over the cup and you'll get candy.
Okay, so what I have for the circuit is two relays that perform a logic function. The fence here is actually one giant switch, and if you disconnect that switch, then when the door opens, the guillotine will be triggered. But if you don't disconnect that switch, then when the door opens, the nail will be pulled out and you'll get candy. So I have one relay connected through the second one. So the one relay is controlled by the door, and the other relay is controlled by the fence. So I will connect those now.
So as as you can see, we have a lot of energy conversions. Like we have chemical, we have electrical all over. We have some elastic potential from the mouse traps, and then we use a lot of gravitational, like with the pulley systems, with the weight, and with the ramp. So, just so you know. Oh, and the speakers, they work, but it's really low. So, you'll hear it, but you'll just have to listen very carefully. So, and
Eric's with your trick-or-treater
yeah.
this morning. I can put it. Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
He's on now?
Yeah, it's on.
Oh.
Yeah.
String gone on around her.
Oh, very nice.
I'm gonna move.
Good luck. Yeah, this was one of our first constraints. It's actually really hard to control it. It is, but it's really low.
That was my grandma.
No, you didn't trigger it.
Oh, we're high sensitive. Back up.
Can you try backing up?
Okay. I need a
There's a tow
manual
truck coming
set
in.
on the car.
What's... Oh, you broke the fence, so...
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, listen.
No, he broke the fence, that's why. Over
The
here.
marble thing, it rolled over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it triggered the old thing. Yeah.
Throw that in.
Throw it in.
Did it go up?
You gotta drop the weight.
The way is on the